Welcome to Cars and Stories. My name is Dennis Smith. I actually am a huge car fanatic. To this point, I've owned 22 cars myself. My wife has owned 10, and as a employee that works in sales, I have also had 8 company cars. So over my time, I've owned 37 cars in total. So I have had a number of different experiences and interesting stories that I just wanted to share with others. Whether it's a laugh, whether it's to share an experience that you yourself may have had as well. But just want to put this channel together just to for all the car fanatics out there, the gearheads, the ones that will spend hours at a party talking about motors and 60 to 130 times and quarter mile times and horsepower at the wheels versus the crank. These are all for all my fellow car enthusiasts. So today I wanted to just start with the story of my very first car, which was a 1990 Volkswagen Jetta with a 5-speed transmission. It had literally 5% tinted windows. And it was my baby. Just to give you a story, I had worked 2 jobs one summer between my freshman and sophomore year to purchase a car, and my mom had made it very clear that she was not eager in letting me take her. I think she had a 1989 Nissan Maxima with the spoiler. It was a SE package. That was a fun car. It was the car that I spent a lot of my time learning how to drive when I had my permit. And I understood why she wasn't comfortable with giving a 16-year-old her only mode of transportation as a single mother, um, with the risk that anything could happen, whether it was an accident, a curb, a tree, any number of things that could have happened and ruined her only mode of transportation. So I had to, because I wanted to drive so much, I put my mind to working consistently over the summer to buy my own vehicle. So I worked at a local dry cleaner and a 7-Eleven, which were about 2 blocks apart. I would go in the morning and work at the dry cleaner until about 1 o'clock, and then I would go and stock the freezer at the 7-Eleven till I think it was 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So I did that for an entire summer and was able to save up enough money for not just the purchase of the vehicle, but for the insurance and to register and to have gas and other expenses that could come up. So I had my eye on this 1990 Volkswagen Jetta that it had just been sitting on the side of a gas station that had a service shop attached to it. And I had talked to the guy and I had asked him earlier in the summer how much the car was, and he had told me it was $400. And I said, okay, I will be back. So the day I had put the money together where I had enough to insure it, register it, and purchase the vehicle, I went back and I said, hey, listen, does it run? Like, is it good? And he said, yes, it runs, definitely. He said, just one thing though. The way you start this vehicle is you have to pop the hood. You have to take 2 screwdrivers and connect the 2 posts on the starter to get the car to start, because I guess the starter was bad. So I said, all right, well, that's fine, as long as it runs, as long as it drives. Another thing I should share is that it being a 5-speed manual transmission, my previous experience with the manual was in theory, in understanding how to do it, watching my parents drive manual transmission. And a senior at my high school had given me some lessons, probably a 15-20 minute lesson on how to get the car started and how to shift gears. That was my knowledge. That was the extent of my knowledge at that point. So he has me practice a couple times starting the car under the hood, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like, it runs, it's good. He's like, we changed the oil for you. You're good to go. Now, Another thing I should mention is that the interior of the car, the interior dashboard had been ripped up. It was like this plastic piece that had been just completely torn apart. I don't know if there was something behind the dash that they needed to fix at that point. And I also want to say this speedometer was not working. So it was just the tachometer that was working at the time. So I hop in the car, I hit the road. I'm a little shaky getting out of the gas station parking lot, but I'm on my way. So driving along, shifting. This is fine. This is good. So it's, it's before rush hour. It's probably 2:30. And I get to a major intersection and, get the car to a stop, put it in neutral. I'm so excited. I have my first car. This is amazing. And I go to take off from that intersection and I stall. And I'm like, okay, this is rough. So cars behind me, busy intersection. I have to e-brake up, get out of the car, pop the hood, go start the car again with the screwdrivers. Meanwhile, people are losing their minds. This is New England now in the summer. And I I get the car started, go again, stall again. I'm like, oh, this is really bad. Hop out of the car, start it again, go. I'm like, you know what? I need to get to a parking lot so I can practice this. So I pull over to a parking lot and I just practice going, stopping, and going. Because as many of you know, driving manual transmission, really the getting going is on a hill or just in general is being able to do that quick and repeatedly is probably the biggest challenge. Once you get going, the shifting is not that difficult. So I spent some time doing that for probably spent like a half an hour in a parking lot doing that till I felt comfortable to really get going when a light turned, just to be able to go. So I made it home, and the real kicker was I did not tell my mother that I had purchased a vehicle. I had a feeling that if I had told her that I had made this purchase, that she would have asked for the keys or tried to regulate it. And I was like, this is my car. I paid for the insurance. I paid to register it. I paid to buy it. I do not want her controlling when I can drive my own car. So I would literally park it down the street and walk. And anytime I was going anywhere or coming back, I said I took the bus or I took the train. So that was a fun experience, to say the least. So my sister knew, a couple of my buddies knew. My cousins came in from New York one night, and my mom was like, I'm sure you're going to ask to take my car out. And I was like, no, you're good. You probably have places to go. Like, we'll just take the bus. So my cousins and I, we leave the house and we're walking down the street. I'm like, guys, I got to show you something. We walk up to my Jetta with its dark tinted windows. And they were so excited. So we go driving around. We went to the mall. Phenomenal time. We're having an awesome night. We're playing music. It was incredible. And we're leaving the mall at one point, and there's this really steep hill that you have to stop at before you can enter the main road. I must have stopped on that hill like 4 or 5 times, just distracted with my cousins and just having a good time. It was such a riot, but we made it home. It was so great. They were like, I can't believe you own your own car. This is amazing. I'm 16 at this point, and I'm in the clouds. I am in the clouds. But that car, $400 for purchasing that car. The insurance was probably more than that for a 16-year-old owning his own vehicle. But it was amazing. I brought it to a specialist, a Volkswagen specialist in a local town, to go through it, repair the speedometer, and to fix the dash. I pretty much just drove it. It was my first car, and I was just happy to have it. So I didn't spend any time modifying it or lowering it or anything. That was many cars following. But yeah, for a $400 car, that car lasted me for so long. I was able to get the starter fixed on it. And it actually ended up helping me get a summer job at a local Volkswagen specialist shop, where I was able to learn about oil changes, tune-ups, spark plugs. I started doing brakes. So I was able to do a lot of the maintenance on the car myself. But it taught me a lot about the ins and outs of car ownership and maintenance. But yeah, it was fantastic experience, and that was the first vehicle I ever owned. Thanks for listening. Subscribe to Cars and Stories.